You're in a crowded room, watching someone smile crack for just a second before they fix it back in place. Everyone else laughs, but you saw it. You always see it. The slight downturn at the corner of their mouth, the way their eyes didn't match their words, the tension they're carrying in their shoulders like invisible stones. And while everyone around you enjoys the moment, you're somewhere else entirely. You're translating, analyzing, reading between lines that no one else even knows exist. This isn't a superpower, it's exhausting. And today, we're going to talk about what this kind of seeing is really doing to you. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. The people who see the most often feel the least. And if you've spent your whole life noticing what others miss, there's a very good chance you're quietly drowning while everyone assumes you're fine. Let me paint you a picture. You walk into your home after a long day, and within 3 seconds, you know something's off. Not because anyone said anything, not because anything looks different, but because you can feel it. The air feels heavier. Someone's voice is half a note too high. The silence between sentences lasts a fraction too long. And suddenly, your body is on alert. Your chest tightens. Your mind starts running scenarios. What did I do? What happened? What's coming? You're reading a script no one else can see, and you didn't choose to learn this language. It chose you. This is called hypervigilance. And if that word feels heavy in your chest right now, there's a reason. Because hypervigilance isn't something you develop as a fun personality trait. It's something your nervous system built to keep you safe when the world didn't feel safe. Maybe when you were young. Maybe when love felt conditional. Maybe when you learned that missing the signs meant getting hurt. So your brain became a surveillance system. Always scanning, always translating, always 3 steps ahead of everyone else. Just to stay 1 step ahead of pain. And for a while, maybe it worked. Maybe it kept you safe. Maybe it made you the friend everyone came to, the one who always knew what to say, the one who could sense what people needed before they even asked. But here's what no one tells you about living this way. It's not sustainable, and the cost is so much higher than you think. Let's talk about the first cost. Your relationships start to feel like performances you're analyzing instead of experiencing. You're on a date with someone who seems kind, attentive, genuinely interested. But instead of being present, instead of letting yourself enjoy it, you're cataloging. You notice the half-second pause before they answered a question, the way they glanced at their phone, the slight shift in their tone when they mentioned their ex. And by the end of the night, you're not thinking about whether you like them. You're thinking about whether they're lying, whether they're really over their ex, whether that pause meant they're hiding something. You've turned intimacy into an investigation. And the tragedy is, you don't even realize you're doing it. The second cost cuts even deeper. You become everyone's emotional translator, except your own. You can read a room in seconds. You know when your friend is pretending to be okay. You sense when your coworker is about to quit before they've even decided. You carry everyone's unspoken pain because you see it so clearly. But your own exhaustion, your own loneliness, the weight you're carrying, you've learned to ignore it so well that even you can't see it anymore. You've spent so long being the person who notices that you forgot you're allowed to be noticed too. Then there's the third cost, and this one is brutal. Intimacy becomes impossible because you can't stop predicting betrayal. Someone gets close, genuinely close, and instead of letting them in, you're already mapping their exit. You're waiting for the moment they prove you right, the moment they leave or lie or hurt you, like you knew they would. And here's the cruelest part. Sometimes you're so convinced they will leave that you start creating distance to protect yourself. You pull back, you test them. You find flaws that maybe aren't even there, just to confirm what your hypervigilance has already decided, that closeness is dangerous. You've become so good at seeing the worst that you can't let yourself see the good, even when it's real. And finally, the fourth cost. Your body pays the price. chronic tension in your neck and shoulders, insomnia because your brain won't stop scanning even when you close your eyes, unexplained pain that doctors can't quite name. Studies have shown that prolonged hypervigilance floods your system with cortisol, the stress hormone, and over time this doesn't just affect your mind, it affects your immune system, your digestion, your heart. Your body is screaming at you to rest, but you can't. Because resting feels like letting your guard down, and letting your guard down feels like the most dangerous thing you could do. And the darkest part? You think this awareness makes you safer. But here's the truth you need to hear. Hypervigilance isn't protection. It's a prison. Let me explain what's happening in your brain. Your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for detecting threats, is stuck in overdrive. It's constantly scanning for danger, even when there isn't any. And when it's activated, it hijacks your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking and present moment awareness. So, you're not actually seeing reality more clearly. You're seeing reality through a filter of fear. Every neutral interaction gets interpreted as a potential threat. Every silence becomes suspicious. Every kind gesture gets analyzed for hidden motives. And here's the trap. You believe that if you see everything, nothing can hurt you. That if you're always 3 steps ahead, you'll never be blindsided. But the truth is this. You're so busy scanning for threats that you're missing actual connection. Picture this. Someone loves you. Genuinely, deeply, without agenda. They tell you they love you. And instead of receiving it, you dissect it. You analyze their tone. You remember a time they seemed distant. You wonder what they really mean. You turn their love into a puzzle you need to solve. And by the time you're done analyzing, the moment is gone. The connection is gone. And they're left feeling like no matter what they do, it's never enough. Because you're not actually with them. You're somewhere else. Protecting yourself from a threat that doesn't exist. This is how hypervigilance becomes self-fulfilling. You create the very distance you fear. You push away the love you're desperate for, all in the name of staying safe. So how do you stop seeing things you can't unsee? First, let's be clear. You can't turn off your awareness. That's not the goal. Your sensitivity, your ability to read people, to notice what others miss, that's not inherently bad. In fact, it can be a profound strength. The problem isn't that you see. The problem is that you're seeing through fear instead of presence. So, here's what you can do. When you catch yourself analyzing, scanning, predicting, pause, touch something physical. The table in front of you, the fabric of your shirt, and name 3 textures: smooth, cool, rough. This pulls you out of your head and into your body, into the present moment, because hypervigilance lives in the future, in what might happen. Presence lives in now. Second, practice something called generous interpretation. For every negative reading you make, force yourself to imagine one innocent explanation. They paused before answering. Maybe they were just thinking. They seemed distant. Maybe they had a hard day. You're not being naive. You're creating balance. Because right now, your brain defaults to the worst case scenario. You need to teach it that there are other possibilities. Third, set boundaries with your own insight. Not everything you notice needs to be spoken or acted on. Just because you sense something doesn't mean you need to investigate it. Sometimes people are allowed to have bad days without you turning it into evidence of betrayal. Sometimes a moment of silence is just a moment of silence. And fourth, your body is holding the vigilance. Gentle movement helps discharge it. Walk, stretch, dance, shake. Your nervous system needs to know it's safe, and sometimes you have to show it through your body, not just your thoughts. But here's the deeper work. If hypervigilance has been with you for years, it's likely rooted in trauma. And trauma isn't something you think your way out of. Therapy modalities like EMDR or somatic experiencing can actually rewire your nervous system, teaching it that the danger has passed, that you're allowed to rest now. Your sensitivity is a strength when it's not running on fear. Imagine what you could do with this gift if you felt safe. Imagine the connections you could build, the love you could receive, the life you could actually live instead of constantly anticipating. You've spent years being everyone's observer, standing outside of life, watching, protecting yourself from the pain you saw coming. And maybe that kept you safe for a while, but at some point, you have to ask yourself, what's the real danger here? Is it what you might miss if you let your guard down? Or is it the life you're missing right now, in this moment, because you're too afraid to be in it? That person who loves you, maybe they're not hiding something. Maybe you're just so used to darkness that genuine light feels suspicious. Maybe the threat you're protecting yourself from isn't out there. Maybe it's the voice in your head that keeps telling you that safety means staying alone. So tell me, what's the last thing you saw in someone that you wish you hadn't? And do you think you were right, or were you just afraid?